Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to another recording of Hand of Fate 2. So, I've slept since the last time we played The Servant, and so I still think I'm in this like weird position where there's a lot of cards here that we just haven't seen, and at a certain point here I may just need to jump around and try a different mission. Particularly now, since I've slept and I've kind of forgotten what I was doing and what strategy I was going for, other than it seems like the strategy really is just going to be have a lot of food, have a lot of knockdown. I wonder if Fate's Path actually is even helpful in this case. I don't think it actually is. So, unfortunately, we really are just approaching the end of how much I can tolerate of this game. There's just too much struggle. I can say that the spring sale at Steam is happening as I'm recording this, and one of the things, and I bought a Steam Deck, so OLED model, in case you're interested. So this would definitely be the kind of game I might play off screen after making a series and come back to, but I don't really know if that's the case either. Like, I've got plenty of other games that would have more of a rewarding outcome to invest my time on.
As the shadows fade, watch closely. You are being followed.
Like, inherently, if I was going to play Hand of Fate anything, I would probably play Hand of Fate 1, see if there's any reasonable way to continue to play that and get all the achievements, and that would probably, at that point, mean playing a whole bunch of other games that I'd be more interested in playing to get achievements. So, there is some real questions there, I would say, as far as just how I could really play a game like this while I'm recording a series off screen, make a whole bunch of progress, and then come back and make a continuation or make a just like roundup element to it, or yeah, that's all just going to be very difficult to figure out in my mind, like what the right move there would be to try to play a game off screen, then come back to it and revisit a game. And that's not just true for content creators, that's true for pretty much everybody. Like, once you put down a game, you probably aren't going to try anything. You're probably never going to return to that game. So, yeah. More than likely, I'll probably just use the Steam Deck to play other games. Things like The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, for instance, that I have more interest in. So we have a Platinum Armory gain, 1 equipment from 3. What did I do there to deserve that reward? I wonder. Was that random? Or have Armory gains just turned into Platinum because I've drawn so many cards? Is there possibly a case in this game that if you just put in what would be the equivalent of 30 hours or so, that the game will just start upgrading these random reward cards and give you a better chance? Alright. So the move here is probably not that one. This one does have a Northerner knockdown and finish with a finisher, So that's probably what we want to do. Well, this one requires fame, so definitely we will equip that. Let's see. Then we know how to get out of this area, so we should just get out of the first area first. Then we're gonna have a fight. And it is possible that in the case of this that there actually is no change in the layout of this mission, so maybe I should just get to the end of this and get a silver and not really try for gold.
Time is but I must pass, and I will.
Mostly all I'm trying to do here is, see, that glowing means nothing, is get out of the central areas and have more in the middle areas. Still getting knocked down quite a bit here. And that didn't feel like I knocked down anybody in that fight when I just equipped a weapon that was supposed to knock down Northerners. No, I did knock down an enemy. Interesting. Alright, well. We can't trade, so this would be either cook food to get your health back up. And I weirdly think that that is the way this is probably going to go, is that we're going to try and have more encounters where we're just regaining food. Finally, we have a new card here, and I'll start actually reading at this point. It's been 7 minutes and I haven't read a single thing. And this probably highlights exactly how I would play the game on my own, is that I would just not read the cards and just try to see whatever random outcome happens because of the card events. A friendly innkeeper regales you with tales of local supernatural phenomenon. You find the stories of a screaming man magicking bread rolls into gold particularly unbelievable. One night as you stroll the woods by the desolate fields, a man hurries past in a nightgown, screeching, his body engulfed in a silver glow. Suddenly acknowledging your presence, he stops his screaming and approaches you. Sorry about the nose. The light burns the core of my being. What brings you to this neck of the woods? Is there something you need? If Doris wants her hat back, she's not getting it. So, we could say turn bread into coins. You could turn notoriety into bread rolls, or turn coins into notoriety. Which, the only one we really want is notoriety, the bread rolls, I guess. He places his glowing hand on your head with a warm smile. Your food and fame have become switched. Well, I didn't think that was going to switch it. I thought it was going to convert all the notoriety to a larger amount of food. Not the other way around. Well, that sucks. If that was the case, then I would have turned the gold into food. Then I can't promise how long my magic will last. So we pick one of 3 cards, which is weird. And so, Silver Potency. The resource will revert after this card expires. This card can't be discarded. Okay. So I think I know what to do here. He gives you an enthusiastic wave before resuming his distress streaking. Right. 4 steps means we need to eat 2 pieces of food. And then enter the Shiloh realm. So we can go to the next section. Here. And then here. Maybe we didn't really need to enter the Shadow Realm, but whatever. Whoops. That was the wrong choice. I wouldn't have really wanted to play that. And yeah. I do think this mission is going to just so heavily rely on knockback, and my companion character just doesn't really have enough knockback. Either that or what knockback looks like is different from what I'm expecting. I might very well be expecting knockdown here instead of knockback. This alone may be knockback there. And so I might be very well confusing knockback from knockdown. Gain 4 fame, gain 3 food, which also means I need to eat more food. Here we have Goblin Trader. I don't believe we've seen this carved either. Ahoy, someone calls from above. Looking up, you see a goblin climbing down from a giant nest at the top of the tree. He swings down next to you and declares, "Welcome aboard. You look like a savvy human or goat," he says, taking you by the arm and leading you further into the forest. "Are you in need of a magical doohickey, poisonous gum, perhaps exploding helmet?" Okay. Seems like we can only purchase helms and artifacts. "What's it to be, sir or madam? A lucky charm or some unsafe goblin magic?" the goblin inquires enthusiastically. So maybe we could combine to affect artifact charges if we had multiple artifacts. We can't sell anything now, so we don't have enough gold to buy anything. But we can see what this does. So we can see how Lionheart now would be very useful. Like, if I could get Lionheart in my hand, I could give 150 extra health to our vampire companion. But no such luck. Meanwhile, there's one more step. So we need to camp. Then we're just gonna cook until we have only 1 fame.
Careful, your supplies are running low.
Then we don't actually need to enter the Shadow Realm because we're just going to the right here.
Can you claim this token?
We've never been able to figure out this gnomish exchange. What I would like to check though is just how many times. Yeah, we're trying to do a finisher and this is a knockdown. So the knockdown special ability is what I'm going for, then to try and use a finisher. Unfortunately, it is kind of a case where it seems like I'm constantly knocking down the enemies or killing the enemies before that happens. Now this might be a great card for this encounter because the only way you defeat these goblins is with finishers, which maybe aren't knockdowns, so we'll see if this gives a bunch of life. So what we really want to do is just do that and then do this. See, I don't think I took any damage there. So if that's the challenge, to get the gold token, I feel like I earned it that time. But yeah, that doesn't seem like that is the reward either. So we'll give him Knight's Sword and see if that does anything for us. We now have a really high amount of gold and fame, but that did nothing for our...
A balance of resources is key. No one wants to perish wealthy but starving.
So now we are back to having 13 food. And we've given 45 of 500 to our companion. But the fights are getting more and more difficult with each encounter. And that is more of an argument to just try and make it to the end. And just get a silver token for making it to the end, at least.
The moment draws near.
Let's see. Getting into the middle fray here is not helping.
Ever dutiful.
Let's try and get over here. But see, then you have like these frenzied enemies that I am taking a lot of damage here. I'm about to die. See, we have like one more guy, and it's still just dangerously close there, even at having a fairly high amount of health, and so that's going to probably just eliminate almost all of our food. I wonder if maybe I had gone into the Shadow Realm when landing on the final location. Would that have helped? See, I can't think that I can eat much more food. We need to buy things. We need to buy food, and we just don't have a way of really doing that. There's just far too many encounters where it doesn't seem like you can gain food or do anything.
Here in the light, you are once more at risk.
Getting into the campfire with the Y button is also another thing that I'm not really learning very much. Right, forage for food. Do we have anything that would help me with any of them? No, so I'm going to forage for mushrooms because I feel like the odds are pretty good there. Wow. Well, that sucks. My only hope here is that we get to the end before we starve to death. Trade equipment for other equipment, trade equipment for food. Trade 1 piece for 2 food gain cards. There goes my sword, putting me in a really bad position. Let's see what. Well, we couldn't really know. I could get 2 pieces of equipment for trading all my food, which maybe there's an argument to do that, but I'm gonna try and hope that this is what moves us to the next area, or at least we learn about this. Okay. If that is the case, that is not the next area, then we probably know where we're supposed to go. It's probably down here. So we want huge success here. And instead we just failed. But I think I know what gets Market Thief to work now. In that I think it is exclusively going to give me the rewards if I have nothing but gold. And I think that might be the case also for Gnomish Exchange, is that you just have to run into these cards when you have nothing equipped at all. Neither one of those cards, though, are really good candidates to really play in this mission. I still want to play this as well as possible, not take any damage. There's no benefit for taking damage at all. Let's see. So this is the only scenario that I haven't probably seen where you can explain that you have nothing worth. Gnomes crowd to inspect you, but only confirm the claim. They mutter among themselves as they fade back into the forest. So that's not the reward either. Which I think this is really just highlighting how, if you were going to make a system like this, the number of encounters should just count towards unlocking something, or you should have some ability to unlock some things otherwise.
Here we see yet another wheel, each different, yet each bearing their own similarities.
So the exit must be in the top left there. Either that or the exit is hidden. There seems to be like no limitation of being in the Shadow Realm, so it kind of feels like you could always be in the Shadow Realm and avoid encounters. Let's see if we can kill these bayonetters quickly. little surprised I made that fight. I kind of felt like I was going to lose there. Gaining continuous fame, gaining life. Suppose it is the right move to go this way. And then suppose we just are entering the Shadow Realm. And I guess in some layouts it might actually be too dangerous to stay in the Shadow Realm.
As the shadows fade, watch closely. You are being followed.
See, if I walk here, wait a minute. Maybe I should change my appearance. Maybe that's the trick here. Is that if we went to the camp and we changed our appearance just a little bit, maybe the bounty hunters couldn't find us. That would be a weird integration of the appearance feature that otherwise has seemed completely superficial to the game.
This ends now.
Got a lot of thieves here. And continuously I'm still trying to I'm being surprised I'm even surviving this far. By far, the Achilles heel of this game has been the difficulty settings. The difficulty of fighting. Alright, well. Get our health up. We will load into the caravan or the campfire and change our appearance and see if that does anything for us. You can see that our character companion is very dark looking. Okay, so we'll put in a hood and we'll say that that's good enough. We don't need to enter the Shadow Realm here. This is all very Yu-Gi-Oh! Still. And if the move is not one, it's definitely one of the others. We might be able to actually use this ability too. So we know that's a force, good. We will decline. We know that's a forest. Good, we'll decline. We know that's the watchtower, which unfortunately, teleporting ourselves to the watchtower is not worth it. So we will decline. And we're going to enter the Shadow Realm. And go here. And go here. And hope that doesn't mean we encounter the goblin.
A final chance to give your companion the succor he seeks. Do not press on unthinkingly.
The night of the blood moon is almost upon you. Do not let the blood moon pass, servant Velis. I did not save you from the pits for you to fail me. It says, turn back. Feed your companion fully before going to the blood moon to win the gold token. We can't do that. We have 4 health. We have 50 gold. even if we had turned 50 gold into 50 food, then that would have only been 250 life that we would have gotten from this. I think we just have to continue here. A brilliant crimson moon hangs high overhead as you journey through the past. The blood moon is at its zenith, and I am left wanting. You did not sate your companion's hunger before the blood moon. You failed to win the gold token. Fine, whatever. Let's just get the silver token and call it a day. You were chosen for your strength, for your cunning, but you demonstrated neither. I just don't see how that would have helped. The Shadow's beast eyes snap to the tree ahead.
Only failure awaits you now. Too slowly. Too slowly.
Let's see. So it's once again a fight. Let's just see if we can avoid the goblins and escape. Now I imagine we'll get the companion card as long as we can avoid the goblins and escape, but maybe not. And again, I didn't think to maybe go into the Shadow Realm before moving forward, but I don't think we really could have gone into the Shadow Realm. I see no way, though, even if you did every single encounter on the field for those 2 levels. Look, there is actually a blood moon.
It is too late,
like,
but still, you
I
will suffer.
just don't see a way that you could have encountered that many fights. If these extra fights work and that somehow the game backed it up, it to me feels like what the move is to potentially always fail this mission, and then you get to your companion and your companion yeah, there's just no way to take that guy out when they're frenzied like that. Yeah, I could see taking the companion on, and then throughout doing other missions, you eventually give him all the life, and then that would be potentially a roguelite experience where you could start this mission with his bargain life already being satiated, but it doesn't seem like that really works that way, because it starts back at 0. Right. So we're gonna have to camp, we're gonna have to eat food, and then we're gonna have to decide where the exit is, which almost certainly the exit is either straight down or over here in that corner. Could we wrap around, perhaps? Well, the problem here is we don't have enough food for anything. We have 4 to go to the right, 4 to go down. I guess the best move is to go to the right and see if we run into an encounter.
I wonder how the bards will sing your songs when the time comes. There's going to be a lot to leave out, I think.
Let's see, who do we want to fight? Fight the goblins, I guess. That may have been a mistake. But honestly, I don't think any of them are good, because I think the situation is that it just gets more and more difficult the further you get in the levels. We're gonna fight this unique Goblin King character. Or Goblin Chief character.
A good choice.
Yeah. So that is that. We maybe learned a couple of things, but we didn't get a single token from doing
Perhaps
the
different
servant.
arms would find you faring better, or more skills.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much as I can do with the servant, and I don't really have a lot of belief that there are any other adventures. Which then just leaves us with looking at Enlist mode, and then maybe just giving all of these missions one more try. And honestly, it might just save time to play all of these missions off screen, but then I would be potentially unlocking new cards and content. Let's see what Enlist Adventures looks like. You get to pick a companion, which I guess you have an infinite score on companions, so let's just pick Colborn. The road ahead may be long and treacherous. Will you endure the turns of cruel fate? Fitting star fame reduces over time. Wear and tear, weapon damage, and equipment defense degrade from use in combat, and permanent injury while your max life is greater than 100. Damage in combat may reduce your max life. So this doesn't really feel like a true Enlist mode. We have a whole extra animation here, which is crazy because this game has basically had no animation.
Bound by time. No, it stretches forth into eternity, or at least until your death.
So he swaps out the hourglass. But has any of the missions actually been bound by time?
You'll find the rules have
Not
changed.
really.
You'll need to be prepared to face whatever fate presents you.
This almost certainly is the way to see new cards. You're not starting with anything special, but it's funny we could change our equipment. Did that change our icon? Let's switch back to a sword. Oh, it does change the little token. That's interesting, but it's also something that I've played for like 32 episodes and not noticed, so maybe that only happens in Enlist mode. The idea that the other missions are bound by time is also kind of crazy, because I've seen no indication that time affects anything unless I'm just playing so incredibly slow that the game is getting more difficult because I'm moving so slow. And that would be infuriating to find out that the reason I can't beat any of these missions is that I'm just trying to be a video game critic and talking about the game and taking longer than your average player. I didn't see anything in the strategy guide that indicated anything like that, though. Adventure beckons you set foot to the open world and begin your journey into the unknown. We have, of course, a ravage of time. Ask for supplies, ask for longer life, ask for gold. I think supplies would make a lot of sense here. Until we see new cards, we can skip through the Enlist stuff. You arrive at the capital on a fine sunny morning, milling around among the crowd of citizens, beggars, traders, and cutthroats. As the city comes to life, you gain 10 Enlist points. What is the value in an Enlist point? Can we use Enlist points to potentially unlock cards or increase our chance of winning in other missions? Or just unlock the remaining challenges? You wander the streets and taverns in search of news and rumors of adventure and glory.
This card will determine the enemy you face at the conclusion of this section. Defeat them, and you will begin another, and so on, into infinity.
So we can fight a Den of Corruption, which is a new card for in this mode, or an assassin in the court. So, one gives us a score of 60, one gives us a score of 81. Let's take the level 1 corruption first. With each passing day, word arrives to the capital Yena village in the outer provinces, failing to the plague. The victims linger before death, attacking all those not yet affected and spreading their affliction further. The Empire seeks warriors to help contain them, and you sign up. You are directed to the town of Fullhaven, rumored to have been overrun recently.
Would you like to make your life more difficult? No doubt. Your history suggests this would not be the first time.
So, we could do Feed the Beast, which is deliver 7 food at the end of the current adventure. I have 13 now. We'd lose 15 gold if we fail there. For 1-star difficulty, we could do Dark Sanctum, have 3 curses, which right now I guess we technically don't have any curses. Or chance card, at the end of the adventure, face a challenging chance card gambit. Failure would lose 18 food. I think we should just
start. It is, of course, simplest to avoid the trials, yet you will find true greatness escapes you as long as you do.
You look over the supplies and maps in preparation. Consider the adventurous traits when building your deck.
Select the cards you need to defeat the enemy ahead. The deeper you go, the more chances you will have to revisit your choices.
So let's go ahead and take that. And we're really only taking...
Make your choices and consider what must lie ahead.
Yeah, I guess you get to pick 2 of 2 different groups. Map reveal is almost certainly useless. So it would either be get a bomb or let's get a bomb. Okay. And so then it would be about fighting corrupted. So leather armor makes sense. Now, are we getting all these cards to start with, and is this really like a deck building game at this point? Or are we just getting the opportunities to add these cards to our run? Because those would be 2 very different things. It seems like this is too many cards to gain all at once.
The choices have
It'd
been
be nice
made,
if you started
and now
that way.
the adventure begins.
But yeah, we don't have any of those cards we just selected. We just picked which cards will be on the field. 50-50 chance of success. And my odds, though, it seems like I'm always doing more than 50% chance of failure. This looks new. While crossing the desert, the ground begins to tremble beneath your feet. A monstrous scaled head slithers out from the sand, followed by a long shimmering body, a serpent of a terrible size. If you strain, you swear you can hear a faint melody being plucked by a lute. The creature stretches languidly and encircles you. The legends of old spit on thee. The serpent drones, staring with 3 unblinking red eyes. Hardship is thy duty, a poor soldier thou art. So apparently my fame at 0 was too low. And in that case, I was actually able to follow a card because it moved incredibly slowly. Serpent blinks impatiently, then with a hiss, it slides away, disappearing quickly into the sands. When you wake, the serpent is gone. I did not pick this card, so we do know that there are going to be random encounters. Now, the problem with making an endless mode like this is that it's pretty obvious that you should always use the endless mode.
Only blood.
catch these two characters before they flee with the gold that they've stolen from you, or that they have at least. You're getting gold potentially with every hit, so seems like it would make sense to get more hits. See, and now this silver shard doesn't look as silvery. It looks kind of greenish. I wonder if that's just a lighting situation because they've tilted the table and put a different background. So this is a crimson fight against this guy, and we want to take no damage at all and do the fight fast. And there's got to be a case here. It seems like I'm fighting a real captain here, whereas previously it didn't really feel like I was fighting a captain. But yeah, in the crimson form of that's not going to go well. You gain some 8 fame from that, but
take careful stock of your resources. You must consider every decision ahead of you.
We can look at the equipment, but we can't really afford anything. So I should probably just eat a bunch of food and see if this moves to the next area. The thing you're losing here, and it's fairly noticeable, is the bespoke storyline per mission that they obviously have spent a lot of time on. Having 21 challenges based on the major arcana of tarot is a lot of effort to then make an endless mode where all of that as a concept is thrown aside. Definitely feels...
Trade. Everything is give and take. With the current empire, more take than give.
Yep.
Here is a chance to improve your standing, yet it will require you to take on additional hardship. Your choice to make.
Take refuge
carefully.
In a cave to avoid a sudden downpour. You begin to explore your surroundings to pass the time. What appears to be a small alcove turns out to be a tunnel burrowing deep into the mountain. After hours of winding paths and random junctions, you find yourself in a wide cavern lit by thin streams of sunlight penetrating from somewhere above. The creature stands motionless in the gloom, peering at you with interest. "Are you mortal?" it asks, in a voice that seems more in your mind than not. It moves closer, but makes no threatening gesture. The essence of death hangs on your every breath, yet the soul still lingers in its shell. It points to a crooked finger at your chest. "Would you like me to set it free?" Chains hanging from the creature's limbs move. Each movement creates a tiny jingling noise. Suspended each one is a dark glass container. As you notice the tools of my trade, I gather the sorrows of your kind, attend to them until the gods see fit to release them once more. Would you like to see one? Earn Enlist points by getting curse cards. So, you can have an unhelpful companion, which wouldn't help you in gambits. We could have a strong foe. Combat has 100% additional. Combatants have 100% additional life. All combats move faster, inflict more damage. Like, 2 of these, obviously, I just personally can't play. One-handed weapons deal less. Whoops, I did not mean to hit yes there. And then seems like there's more things. I thought this was labeled unhelpful companion, but I guess it's labeled alone. Alright, well, we took a curse card. The creature says your soul yet shines brightly. My charges will be safe there. So yeah, really I just want to see where this is going to go, and then I'm going to probably just fail intentionally. There are no focus artifact cards in the deck. Have this instead. Plus 10 max life. Interesting. So if you don't have any kind of bombs in the deck, you may just get 10 life. I don't really even care to read this, so just pause now. And you have a new corner indicator in the top right. It doesn't look like corruption. So our companion is still supposed to be helpful. Wow. I don't think I took a single bit of damage there. So he was not particularly the most difficult of enemies. And so you'd think at this point, you'd like to get a gold token that would just unlock some card that you're struggling to unlock elements on. You can cover what you can from the remaining townsfolk and return to the village. You gain 60 Enlist points, you gain 6 food. Corrupted are now stronger in combat. The first adventure is completed.
Your first adventure is complete. From here, things will become more difficult. What adventure will fate hold for you?
So, here we would find undead, or here we would find northerners. So this is just going to keep on going with new dialogue that you'd have to read. I really wish this was text-to-speech, and they just had
time to add trials
before
time has passed and things have become more difficult.
Yeah, the narrator really should be rolling everything. Let's just add everything. This one would be roll a 9, challenge, artifacts being restricted, and a wheel gambit at the end of the challenge.
A brave move. Let us see how that decision fares.
Do taking on these challenges give you the rewards at the beginning, or do you have to do them at the end?
As you descend, your decisions here will become your lifeblood.
Clearly, this is the right way to play this, because you just see way more cards. So we have no idea. Draw an encounter card during the challenge to discover its traits. We still don't know what that does, unfortunately. So while this may help guide you in certain directions, it's actually not going to help you as much as you would like. Let's see if any of these would fight undeads. We don't want Thieves' Folly. We don't have enough fame for that.
Congratulations! You have not fallen at the first hurdle. Now your decisions become more pressing.
So here's the Warring Kingdoms, and I just skipped through several lines of dialogue while I was just not even paying attention. When I should have been reading this out. She addresses the peasants. The Red Kingdom is infamous for the ruthless tactics, as is their insane customs. Join our crusade to end the Red Menace once and for all. The Red King, face screwed up in fury, grabs a tart from the shocked bystander and flings it at the Blue Queen. It splats a few strides short, and she makes a jeering noise. So, the town folk stand quietly looking from one band armed soldiers to the other. Ask why the kingdoms are at war. The Red King shouts furiously. Everyone knows that the depraved citizens of the Blue Kingdom eat baked pastry with their breakfast. A cry of disgust erupts from the band of red soldiers. The blue soldiers stir angrily, and the queen spurs her horse in a trot. As everyone raised in a civilized society does, it is only the depraved subjects of the Red Kingdom who eat baked pastry with their supper. Even these simple farmers wouldn't stoop so low. So they're arguing over whether you eat baked pastries for breakfast or dinner. The soldiers of both kingdoms control their sabers and wave them fiercely in the air, threatening to charge each other right through the gathered crowd. The town mayor, a rather thin rake of a man with a graying hair, implores you to intervene. So we have to join red or blue here. I mean, this definitely feels like a ridiculous kind of Pepsi Coca-Cola argument. We'll join red. And with the Red Alliance, we get Red Pride. At the start of each level, draw 1 gold or food, gain card, permanent blessing. Warning warrior, the Blue Queen declares, by allying yourself with the repugnant Red Kingdom, you've made an enemy of the Blue Kingdom and all your people pure heart across the land. Dealer adds an encounter card, which is going to be fighting the blue. Taking your lead, the people of the village turn to the Red Kingdom as they begin to hand out small red cakes. The Blue Queen hisses leads her soldier out of the small village, presumably on a small fishing onto the small fishing town you passed earlier that day. This is very Alice in Wonderland. Red Queen, White Queen nonsense. 7 skull creatures to fight here. And yeah, we'll go a little long just to see this all the way through, but I really am not attempting to get too far here. Well, it's helpful to know what the cards do to be better prepared. That is an interesting background area. We haven't seen that one before. I wonder if that background area is only used in Enlist mode. I bet not. I bet it's used in like one of the very last challenges also.
The weapon of footpads and vagabonds.
We should be able to win this arm wrestling.
Games within games within games.
Which can bump the arm wrestling up to give us more gold. but without being able to, say, camp and buy something. Let's see. Kingmaker is new. Defense breaker.
A creator of kings in an era that has left them behind.
So can we even equip Kingmaker? If we're gonna do it, we have to equip that, then we have to equip that. Yeah, again, I just don't really care about any of this dialogue. Let's see. Lose 1 random equipment, gain 40% and gain 10% max life. Let's go with that, since you're already going to lose 10% max life anyways. That's only going to take me down to 99. Which we were going to lose that anyways.
Now's your chance. Resolve these as soon as you can.
So Red Alliance is going to choose food or gold. Well, let's go with food. Merchant's ring is telling us where a merchant is. We have a decent amount of gold, so we should that still didn't work. Let's see. Trade equipment for other equipment, trade equipment for food. Let's get rid of that. And then get rid of that. Did I do that? I'd have to trade 3. So what I want to do is get rid of the merchant's ring and then get rid of this for that much. Then say yes. Gambler's hood. And we'll just leave. That didn't work great, and yeah, that was never going to work great because I didn't really have, I wasn't going to do I wasn't going to be able to buy.
Well, let that opportunity pass you by then.
We're losing fame like crazy. Here's the blue ambush. And that seemed to do nothing. Here we have a battered helm. Yeah.
Here we begin to see the triumph of wit over strength.
Just buy everything since we have enough.
Potions and poultices have somehow flown under the Empire's radar. It's merely magic frozen in form.
Okay. I'm just trying to do everything possible. And then we'll see if we can win this fight. Let's skipping all this dialogue. This really just highlighting how little I care about this game at this point, and how you could easily play a game with pretty much near contempt of the dialogue and just want to have an action sequence. And I definitely feel like this is where this action sequence works its way into that mentality, is that if this was always just a if this was always a tabletop type experience, then the players would kind of know that that's what they're in for. These guys are moving really fast, which I think highlights that if you take these bonuses and these challenges, you're not really going to have a decent chance of success. This guy is heavily armored. Very dangerous. Taking a lot of damage out on me. Finally get his armor off. I am surprised I won there. But I think it probably is just worth it to forfeit. This will at least give us an example of what happens when we forfeit. As you continue to play, you would take more damage on your items, so selling and trading your items would just become this constant element that is extra. Right, so getting a 9 here is pretty easy.
Well done. You continue to impress.
And then I imagine we are going to just fail for the rest of these. Artifact has been retrieved. So we're up to like 500. So it feels like these points might just go up forever, and there might just be like a leaderboard that you're getting potentially millions of extra elements on. So yeah, we failed that. We could have gotten something nice there.
You might want to work on this. Clearly you lack what it takes.
See, this would be less reward than this would be. So why wouldn't you take the higher rewarded one versus the lesser rewarded one?
No good will come of this.
And here we could have a drunken hero, or this, and this. And so, yeah, there's a whole endless mode here of just completely different cards, making the game twice as long, particularly when I just don't really feel like the game should be as long as it is without endless mode. I think the game is too long already. And you're going to have certain situations like this where you're going to have to remember what the cards do to see if there's useful things in here. And some of these cards definitely have better use now because you have cards that are going to wear out. That being said, I almost wonder though if you're going to either have to cycle around, or endless mode is not going to be as endless
you understand now
as it
that
should
these
be.
Challenges will stretch until time itself ends.
Like, because if you just run into every encounter, and if you just do every single thing, and you can only do every encounter once, that wouldn't make a lot of sense to call it endless at that point.
If nothing else, I'll get a song out of this.
So that should be enough playing. We'll forfeit after this and just see where this goes. Otherwise, I need to die. So if they warn me in some way to not forfeit.
We often protect ourselves by hurting those who befriend us, don't you think?
We're pretty much close at the point where we would have died anyways. Alright. So let's see what happens when we forfeit. And see what the endless points would have really unlocked us.
Will do for a beginning.
So, Enlist adventure score, we got 500 points with Colborne, number of attempts 1. We can see a tally of just completed adventure cards, trial cards, sacrificed equipment, sacrificed blessings, willing curses, and special, giving us a total of 500. And there is just a leaderboard here that pops up the Steam leaderboards, which aren't going to be captured on my screen, and also are not controller compatible. But I can tell you, looking at it as a Steam overlay, that the number one spot is at 505,000 score, which is almost certainly a lie, and just glitching and cheating doing to get that score, because the number 2 spot is 139,000 score, which is also probably a lie, because the number 3 spot is 62,000 score. If we were to go down to the number 11 spot and just assume that all of the top 10 are people who cheated, then number 11 is at 35,000. And in fairness, I might see an argument that either there is a ton of cheating things going on here, which doesn't seem like that's the case, because it seems a little too consistent. I would bet that you can get to 62,612 for the number 3rd spot legitimately. But there's no way to double your score at that. That's just unrealistic. So, yeah. If you just play forever, which at some level I don't know if you could really pause the game and return. You probably could. You would just have to play forever in endless mode, though, to get to 62,000. That would be 128 times. Well, no, that's not the right math. 10 times 100 times would be 50,000. No, yeah, it is basically 128 times better than what I just did, which would also mean probably around 64 to 128 times as much time you'd have to put into it. So when we go back to the caravan, Are we gonna get any animation? No, I guess not. So, the hope here is to figure out how to play strength in the next episode. Otherwise, we're gonna just do justice, and we're just gonna try and do death, and then we'll just try and do the tower and the star one more time. That's still gonna make this series really, really long. I don't think that there's any benefit to doing the silver ones. Maybe I'll play those off screen. That's certainly a thought. But as far as it goes, until you defeat strength, which is our current gatekeeping problem, or until you defeat the servant, which we can't do, you are tied to just these companions. And if you don't unlock another companion, you will never manage to get anywhere with the game. We still have this card that is an unknown. We should take this card. We now kind of know what this does. It's that it trades influence. So then it would just be a lot of strategy as far as trying to see how could you gain armor and items, which is something we really haven't been playing towards as far as things go. Getting your health higher, I don't think works. Well, take note here though, there is something strange here. The maximum number of platinum cards is 1 of 3. So I can just take those 3 platinum cards, and then that alone changes the whole experience.
I guess that card is one of your favorites. I don't see the appeal.
Let's see. We should play the Far North. We should play Deadly Forest. We should play that. Is Gnomish Exchange really the right move? Probably not. Let's actually just let it fill anything we're not certain about. And yeah, sorry this is going long, but I kind of need it to go along. Need things with real damage reduction. And see, the icon at the bottom here sometimes means the number of uses, but sometimes it means the amount of defense. I guess maybe that's the outline size of it. If it's a hexagon, it's a use. If it's a shield, it's defense. Let's see. Take this 10 defense. Still really haven't used this enough. Take a ring of defense. Take a gambler's jewel. Then we probably want something that can do a lot of damage. 18 one-handed damage is what we're looking for. Probably Northerner. So let's just take that. We kind of don't want to take this weapon. Interesting. Why does this say the High Priestess Plus? Increase the difficulty of the High Priestess. Interesting. So it's a really strong maze that you should be using in the High Priestess. That is weirdly the only case I've seen where it kind of makes sense to play a specific weapon in a specific mission. If they were going to do that, they should have done it more often, which is, inherently that is always the problem that runs up with this, is that we find the same things happening over and over again. And see, I think I've probably just forgotten what the actual mission here is. Because I think the mission actually is to have like that. Alright, so then if we say recommend and just fill, that'll fill in that section with some other cards. What I wonder about this though, and that'll save, is did we do something that would have let me have more platinum cards? No, the max platinum card here is still 1. So it may have just been a case that on these lower things, the max number of platinum cards might be higher. Or maybe it is even a case that the number of platinum cards is going up based on how many times you've just failed an experience. Because I certainly have failed the experience on strength quite a few times. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.